Nigeria's political landscape is once again consumed by the controversy over the Muslim ticket. Just days ago, Sheikh Yahya Jingir reaffirmed his stance that Nigerians should embrace same-faith leadership, insisting that Muslims must rally behind the arrangement. His comments, including the claim that those opposed should leave Nigeria, have provoked outrage from Christian leaders, civil society, and politicians like Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, who want that such rhetoric deepens division in a fragile democracy. Meanwhile, defenders of the Sheikh argue that Jingir's views reflect frustration over perceived religious bias, while the presidency maintains that Tinubu's choice of Shettima is more about merit than religion. 4 years after the fierce backlash of 2023, the return of this debate ahead of the general election raises urgent questions, one of which is Nigeria moving beyond identity politics, or are we sliding back into dangerous sectarian fault lines? Well, joining the conversation right now to speak on this is Femi Emmanuel, is the National Director of Politics and Governance, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. Is with me here live in the studio. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for
inviting me. It's great to have you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's get straight to it. The statement by a Muslim, Sheikh,
yes,
insisting that Muslim ticket is the way to go. Those not comfortable with it could choose to leave the country. He also used the word infidels,
yes,
in that remark.
Yes.
What's your reaction, sir?
You see, Nigeria has fundamental problems.
Fundamental?
Fundamental and foundational. What the Sheikh said is the mindset of some powerful modern sheikhs and imams, which is the truth. Nigeria is sliding terribly towards this religious ideology that want to overrun the entire country. And that is the truth. The Nigeria we all want to see, the Nigeria we love to see, Nigeria where things work, we lost it in 1966. Nigeria once worked. Things were once working when we were under regional constitution. I don't have problem with those who want to live under Sharia, because to them it's an anathema to be in a secular state. They want a Sharia-dominated environment. I have no problem with them. But the rest of us should be allowed to live our lives. And that's why my advocacy is that Nigeria should return to where we lost it. Nigeria should return to regional government, if that is what you want to do over there. Because the man that spoke is the head of the ulamas, a powerful Islamic movement in the north. And with such a mindset, you can't pacify them.
But does a Muslim ticket really matter in the context of Nigerian politics?
What took me to politics 1991 to 1993. And it opened my eyes to what a pastor cannot see from the pulpit. I stand where PFN stands because I represent PFN. And our national president has spoken. I stand with CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria. But I see more than that. I see more than what we are saying. If we say we don't want Muslim ticket, all right. What we are then saying is that give us vice president. Is that not what we are saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe.
In a presidential system, such as we are, who is vice president? What does he bring to the table? What will he add to the Christian body? A vice president is a king in waiting. Or if I want to be very point blank, a spare tire. It doesn't sound bill to become law. It doesn't appoint ministers and portfolios. It doesn't have executive power. A vice president is a standby. There is nothing in the Constitution that gave him power. So if what we are saying is give us vice president, what does he add to us? I think what the Christian body should ask for is just like the women are advocating. Now, a bill is in the process, or advocacy is in the process, that women should be allowed, certain seats should be allowed for women that will not be contested by men, so that we can have women in the National Assembly representing the women's voice. And that is ongoing. That's exactly what the Christians should ask for. Look, our system today is 8 years for the North, 8 years for the South. If the president came from the North for 8 years, then the next one should come from the South. Good. We should extend it further and say 8 years of a Muslim president, 8 years of a Christian president. Because the vice president you are asking for does not have anything to do.
So you're saying that in terms of religion or faith, it should be rotational.
There are two.
But there are a lot of religions in the country. It's not just Christian and Muslim. So if you are saying 8 years...
Can we be very frank?
Okay.
There are two centrifugal forces on which Nigeria stands: ethnicity and religion. Whoever is denying it is playing to the gallery. That is who we were before we were amalgamated. That is who we were before the British came and amalgamated us. And that is what we still are today, because ordinarily we should be talking about efficiency, competence, somebody that can lead us. Religion should not come into it at all, but the real fact is that ethnicity and religion decide everything we do here. You can hear what the Sheikh is saying. So what the Christian body should ask for is, look, just as we're saying women should be allowed, deliberately allowed, we should amend our constitution to say 8 years Muslim president, 8 years Christian president. That is what would be fair. Because for all you know, look, when 2 or 3 Nigerians meet, the first question is, where are you from? That's the first question. Where are you from? And depending on your tribe, the whole atmosphere will change depending on how prejudiced it is against that tribe. The next thing is, which religion? So you can't remove that. Anybody's like saying, don't know, those are our fault lines, then it's just playing to the gallery.
My next question will be very direct. Do you think that Christian religious leaders are doing enough when it comes to national discourse, nation building, even supporting?
No. Look, Christian faces existential threat in Nigeria.
Whose fault?
Is that whose fault?
Yes.
Our fault. Because we all grew up to be told politics is evil, politics is dirty, don't get involved in politics. That is in the DNA of it. That's what we grew up with. Up to now, there are general overseers, religious leaders that still consider politics as dirty. Let's not just face our Christianity, win soul, but then next to God's power is political power. The Bible says we are the salt of the earth. And I tell my fellow general overseers, my fellow ministers, does the salt start aloof on the shelf to change what you are cooking? You cannot change a system you are not involved in. So if you say it's our fault, maybe, but it has always been so. And that is my own passion. Wake up these. Look, the church is a sleeping giant. Judging by the huge number of Christians in this country, look, a particular church organization has over 50,000 branches called parishes. Another one has over 25,000. Look, the nucleus that decide who rules you is just 8,800. The wards, the grassroots. Christians are not in parties. And the party produces who you vote for. So if you say it's our fault, maybe. But then it's not fair.
So
it's not fair on the Christians.
Before we go on this break, are you saying that churches or Christian leaders should be involved? They should set up political parties. They should sponsor.
No. General overseers like myself cannot be partisan. Church leaders and founders cannot be partisan. But what about the millions of Nigerians who submit to us, who call us daddies, who call us papas, who will do whatever we ask them to do? The church has imprisoned its members. So we should unchain them. And how do we do that? Give a new orientation. We must be reorientated that politics is not evil. Politics is not dirty. There's a Yoruba proverb that says, if you leave your nice clothes to the bad man, he will turn it into shreds. That is what is happening in Nigeria. So we should ask more than we don't want Muslim ticket. It should go deeper than that. There should be system that allow Christian to be president of the nation. Can I tell you, the kind of fraudulent structure we have now, a Christian will never emerge to be president of this country. It's not possible.
We'll pick up from there when we return from our first break. To stay with us, we'll be right back. You're still watching Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me. Femi Emmanuel is the National Director of Politics and Governance at Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. Thank you for staying with me, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. You said quite a lot of things before we went on that break. And you said the church should go beyond just being in the background, being involved, supporting members, maybe or unchaining, if I use your word.
It's more than supporting members.
Okay.
Look, how will your members emerge to be voted for? You see, what the church...
So is it okay, for instance, for a church to say, to say our candidate is running?
No.
Vote for him.
You can't even have a candidate. The church can't have a candidate. Why?
A member is running as a candidate.
How will that member come forth? You see...
So how can the church...
Democracy we are doing now is a party democracy. A candidate will have to emerge from the party.
Okay.
Christians are not in the party. So how are you going to emerge? Where will you get delegates that will vote you as a candidate?
But it said that the First Lady is a pastor.
That's a single person. I just told you that there are 8,800 wards where ward officers, you see, that thing called ward or the grassroots, that's the power of politics. In Nigeria, democracy is only on paper. Government of the people, by the people, for the people is only on paper. It doesn't work here. Here, parties are owned. Parties are owned. And it is the owner of the party. And how do they own it? They are the owner of the grassroots. The men are the ward that determines the delegates. So if you are not, look, about 70% of those in the National Assembly now are not going to be there come 2027. You know why? The owner of the platform that sent them had removed them. You know what happened to Desmond Elliott in Surulere now? You know what happened to Ambody? You know what happened to Wike and Fubara? And it is so all over. The parties are owned in Nigeria. And so what my advocacy is that not just the church, the youth. If we say the youth are 60% of the population, you can't change anything on social media. INEC is not going to count up, it's going to count ballot papers. So you can't be attacking, you can't be praying and fasting and of course get to the pulpit and pour venom and be prophesying and be cursing if you like. It won't change anything. It won't change anything.
Before we move away from this, because I'm sure people watching too would want, you know, will I call it specificity in this area?
Yes.
Politics in Nigeria, unfortunately, or fortunately, for some, they'll say it's expensive, right? You need
it will be expensive the way it is.
With the way it's run, right? And a lot of young persons who are even Christians, who are active Christians serving in their churches, might have ambition but don't have the money.
Not just the money.
So how can the church come in?
Okay, look, I don't know which church you attend or which mosque you attend, church. Get there next Sunday or tell your pastor. And I have done this severally where I had addressed the church community. How many of you have voters card? You'll find a good number. Since 2023, the understanding of having voters card had come on. Then ask how many of you have party card participating in the ward meeting actively. You won't find any. And once you are not there, you can't produce a candidate. It takes delegate to produce candidate. So when you are saying you're a church member, where will he get the platform? Who will give him? I told you now that parties are owned. So the only rescue is for the youth, that we say is the majority, the church community, and the corporate community. If I ask you, I know you are a journalist, you don't have a party card. You don't participate. People like you are not. The corporate Nigerians are not there. They are busy with their tech. They are busy with their businesses, jumping in and out of the country. They are making their money. It won't change Nigeria. The whole church congregation, millions and millions of us. Our PFN president said, by the statistics he has, the Pentecostals alone are about 65 million. 65 million. How many does it take a president to win? Pentecostals alone. We are not speaking about the Orthodox. but 65 million docile, politically asleep. So you have the minority ruling you, and that's why that sheikh could say what he's saying. So the only way we could change Nigeria is to get involved, and not just by having your voter's card. Voter's cards to vote for who? To vote for people who did not produce? It doesn't work. And that is my own advocacy. Open the eyes of the youth, ordinary Nigerians, corporate Nigerians, the large church community, and say, look, you can't stay aloof and be criticizing. Nigerian system, this Nigeria environment doesn't, look, you can't change Nigeria by protest. You can't change Nigeria by abusing the leaders. You can't change Nigeria by just praying and hoping God will come down. And I asked the Christian community, look, will a student say, I have prayed, I will not do the needful, read your book, review the papers to pass? Will a trader say, I have prayed, I will not do the needful to sell the product? Even with pastors, do we just pray to grow our church? Those of us who, by the grace of God, run mega churches, don't we put structures in place? Don't we go on evangelism? Don't we establish Bible colleges? Don't we do welfare? Don't we baptize people? Don't we do our own? If you don't do the needful, you won't get the needed. Why is it that when they now come to governance, and next to God's power is political power, when they now come to governance, we say, let's pray and leave it to God. That's blindness. We must wake up. If not, look, if you vote 100 times, you'll be voting for the same people. Can I just say this? Can I just say this? Look at the three leading political parties. I just saw this AD issue now that you aired. ADC, APC, ADC, NDC. Look at their presidential candidates. Our president, Sheikh Bola Tinubu, twice governor of Lagos State, father of APC all over the years. Look at ADC, the former vice president, 8 years, and will always present himself at every election. Look at NDC, Kwankwaso, twice governor of Kano State, minister of defense at a time, has always been there. Even look at Mr. Peter Obi, 8 years, Anambra State governor. It is the same old people. If you vote 100 times, you're going to be voting for them. Nothing will change until we get involved, invade that territory with our numbers, and then change the ward officers. It is the ward officer that determines candidate that the general public votes for.
All right, sir. Before we wrap up this conversation, there is another equally trending issue.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, the issue that a law has been considered to ban preaching in public places, particularly buses.
Yeah.
I mean, this largely affects the Christian faith.
Yeah.
What's your reaction, sir?
My reaction? I stand where my president stands. The PFN national president, His Eminence, Dr. Francis Walioke, has spoken. And I stand where he stands, condemning it, and saying it's not acceptable. I stand by where they stand. But again, beyond that, just like I said, protest, addressing press conference, won't change Nigeria, won't change anything. Now, a worse law has been passed, Kama. You remember Kama law that says, church, if there's any allegation, if any members of the church will write to the Registrar General, he has the power, a single man, to suspend the board of trustees of a church and put his own board of trustees there, and the church or the community or the charity cannot challenge him in court. That has been signed into law. It has not been tested. It will be tested one day when somebody gets there that thinks he wants to fight the church. Where was the church when that law was passed? Where was the church? So, and a lot of anti-church. I told you that the Christian faces existential threat in this country. Everything is killed against the church. But the church is muted. We are busy celebrating miracles. We are busy celebrating big auditoriums. We are busy celebrating a crusade. The lame is walking, the blind is seeing. Good, good. I mean, that's our primary responsibility. But in a Nigerian environment, it will be swallowed up. There is an ideological power that want to overrun Nigeria. That is what you see that Sheikh express. Those who believe that they are born to rule, Nigeria belongs to them. Every other person is an infidel. You know what he said? If you don't find somewhere else to go, is that how you are going to be living? So it is beyond Are we just going to be reactive? When are we going to be proactive? Many more terrible laws are coming that will not favor the Christian community. But we are not there. And it is better to stop a bad law being passed than to want to revoke it after it has been passed. You're going to be there for years. So my appeal, my advocacy to the Nigerian youth, to the corporate community, to the Christian church, wake up and be involved, or else you will be overrun.
Wake up and be involved.
Be involved, not just by voters' card. Be involved at the grassroots. We are many enough. We are literate enough. We are rich enough. But we have been imprisoned and have been made to lure to slumber by this politics is evil. Politics is dirty.
I mean, talking on that, what about those Christians with that mindset and saying that, look, it's evil, it's dirty, it will affect my heavenly race?
Oh, there are many of them. Many general overseers. I have been on this for 5 years, and as known as Femi Emmanuel is by the grace of God, and the little breakthrough that God has also given us, there are general overseers that have not been able to access. Who still believe, don't bring that one here. We are just for Jesus. Jesus will soon come. Let's win souls. Let's educate them. And thank God for many firebrand ministers. You can see all of them online. But gathering thousands in your church or in the stadium or running crusade and celebrating supernatural will not change. You are in an environment that will swallow us up if we continue like this. It won't change anything. All those things are good. But we must include this. We must include this. Paul the Apostle was writing in Romans chapter 10, verse 2. He said, I bear my fellow Israelites witness that they have zeal, but not according to knowledge. Thank God for the zeal. Thank God for the supernatural. Thank God for the growth of the church. But without governance, governance is too powerful to be. He said, when the righteous rule, the people are happy. But when the wicked are in power, people mourn. Are we mourning in Nigeria today? All right. I just told you, if we vote 10 times, we are going to be voting for the same people that brought Nigeria to this level, if we don't get involved.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. It's been great having you on the program this evening.
Thank you.
Femi Emmanuel is the National Director of Politics and Governance, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. Once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me.